Rise and shine.
It's espresso time.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and successful people don't wake up and go, yes, what another day to be alive. But when you have a morning routine that sets you up for success, like watching one of these videos, it will change your life. So let's start your day off right together. Grab your coffee, know that I believe in you, and get ready for a shot of espresso from Grant Cardone.
I wake up every morning.
Espresso keep me going.
I wake up every morning.
Is there any daily disciplines that you have in your life, daily routines that you would attribute to your success?
I try to beat the sun up. I write my goals down every day, and I try to hit the gym. So I don't do it perfect every day.
Sure.
Some things throw me off, and unfortunately, I created a lifestyle where some things are taken care of for me that most people don't have that option. You know, somebody drives the kids to school. I don't have to do that. That would change everything if I had to do that. Who knows? Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to start driving the kids to school. It seems like a complete waste of time to me. But I live two minutes from my office. So when I bounce out of here, I got to go do a live stream on real estate. But that's the first three things. If I can get that done in the morning, man, I know I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah, pretty simple. Beat the sun up. Make sure you write down your goals.
Yeah.
Make sure you take care of yourself, get the blood flowing, get the heart pumping.
Yeah, and I write my goals down fresh, a new unit at a time. Like I write them down today, like I had never written them down before.
Nice.
Yeah.
Staying consistent on your morning routine is the difference between you having a good life and a great life. The life that you're living right now, which is good. Listen, you have a good life right now. If you're watching this, you have internet, you have food, you have a place to sleep tonight. You have a pretty good life. You have a pretty good life, but it's not a great life. You know you're capable of more. You know you want to do more. You know that where you are right now is not where you want to be. That imagine a year, 2 years, 5 years. Imagine if you were still in the same spot in 5 years. Imagine your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, the impact you're having, your routine, your daily, like what you're doing on a regular, and nothing has changed in 5 years. It'd still be a good life, but it's not a great life, right? It's not a great life. This is the struggle, that you know you're capable of so much more. If you didn't know you're capable of more, ignorance is bliss. You just keep living your life. But when you know you're capable of more, this is the curse of the achievers. Like, you know you're capable of so much more. No matter how much people look at you and say, hey, wow, you're doing so well, you're doing so much. That's why you're watching these videos. You are the most ambitious person that you know. People look to you for guidance and wisdom, advice and support and encouragement and hope and inspiration. Like, you're the one filling other people up. You're the one inspiring other people to do better, to be more, to go after their dreams. That's you, but who's doing that for you? You know you're capable of so much more. And so how do you get it? How do you do the work? Well, it's a daily thing. This is part of the challenge. It's a daily thing. It gets boring. It gets boring to do the exact same thing every day, to stay consistent on what you said you were going to do. And we start to doubt ourselves. You have days where you're motivated, inspired, ready to take on the world, feeling amazing, and other days where you don't feel so good, and you wake up feeling like, who am I? I can't do this. What I said I was going to do that. You look at your goals like, I'm going to do that. There's no way I'm going to do that. Me? I'm going to stay in bed. It's the thing achievers don't talk about, is there's a lot of days when you just don't feel like you're worthy of it. You don't believe in yourself. You don't think that you can do it. And it's just that consistency that prevents you from doing the thing. Because you have the days when you're on fire, and then entire days, maybe weeks sometimes, where you're just not doing anything. And so how do you keep that momentum? How do you keep that consistency? It starts with a morning routine. And the goal of a morning routine is to help you feel motivated, bold, courageous, ready to take on the day. That's what the goal of a morning routine is. Everybody's got a morning routine. If you're watching this, you got a morning routine. Everybody doesn't have a morning routine. Most people actually wake up like an accident, right? Most people wake up and they fall into their day and they look at their phone and it's other people's emergencies and other people's demands for your time. That's most people's day. But for you, if you're watching this, you're an achiever and you have some kind of morning routine. But most people's morning routine are also broken because you're not doing it consistently enough, or you're not doing it with enough intent. So if you ask, what's the goal of a morning routine? The goal of a morning routine is to get you bold and prepped and ready for the day. Let me ask you this. If you were to, for the next year of your life, right? 365 days, the next year of your life, you're gonna wake up and do something that would make you feel bold, powerful, courageous, motivated. Not asking you to wake up feeling bold, powerful, courageous, motivated, but to wake up tired, however you wake up. I woke up tired today. You wake up and then you do something that will help you feel bold, powerful, motivated, courageous, and ready to take on the day. If you woke up and did that for the next 365, how much does your life change? How much does the next year change? How much does the impact that you're making, does the actual momentum that you're taking towards your goals, how much does that change if in the next year you actually did that? It should be tremendously, it should be dramatically, because no matter how much you do in your morning routine, one, you're probably not super consistent on it, and two, you're not getting the feeling even if you are. That's what needs to change. I was in New Mexico and I was doing, on Super Bowl Sunday, my workshop. And it was the smallest group on our tour, and we were talking about morning routines. And there was a woman there, and I asked her, what's the most important part of your morning routine? And she said, prayer. I said, so you pray, how often do you pray? Every day, every day, every day. She prays, perfect. How often do you feel the prayer? How often do you feel the connection? And how often are you just saying the words? And she said, like half the time. Great. Other people might look to her and say, well, look, you do it every day. Even for herself, she might look at herself and say, great, I did it every day. As achievers, we like to check the box, right? You like to check the box, say, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it, I did it. I prayed, I watched the video, I read the book, I brushed my teeth, whatever. You have your checklist and you did it, right? And you feel great that you did it. But if you don't get the feeling of courageousness and you just check the box, it doesn't count. So watching a video might be part of your morning routine. Great, I'm, if it's mine, I'm honored to be a part of your journey. If it's somebody else's, amazing, do that too. But if you know that watching a video is the thing that helps make you feel alive, bold, confident, you know that there are some days that watching a video actually makes you feel that way, and other days where it doesn't. And you know that watching the same video over and over and over and over every day will lose its impact super quick, right? Day one, you're motivated. Day two, already you've lost like 80% of the motivation that you got from day one. Day three, it's basically over. You run it for a month, forget it. Like you've already memorized the words, that the words don't mean anything to you anymore. So you have to have some variety. And if you're watching a video while you're doing something else, this is the achiever's curse. You're watching a video while you're brushing your teeth, while you're taking the dogs out, while you're cleaning the sink, while you're making the bed. You're distracted, you're doing something else, you're trying to multitask, right? Here's what happens to the achievers. You still get to check the box to say that you watched the video. But because you weren't present for the video, guess what happens? There was no retention. There was no feeling. You don't feel ready to take on the day. You don't feel the boldness, the courageousness, and therefore you don't go and have a great day, even though you checked off everything on your morning routine. That's what makes a difference. So if you get to the end of your morning routine and you don't feel bold, powerful, courageous, ready to go for the day, there's one of two things that you have to do. One is you audit your morning routine. You say, what's missing? Does this still work for you anymore? What's missing? Do I need to add something in? Do I need to add an espresso video in during the morning? Do I need to add reading? Do I need to add working out? Do I need to add writing my goals down? Like, what do you need to do to add and tweak and experiment and see if it makes you feel better? Or two, maybe you just need to do the routine again, but with more intention. Maybe you did the whole routine while you were distracted. Maybe you did the whole routine while you're thinking of something else. So you don't get the feeling. There's nothing wrong with the routine. The routine is great. The routine is perfect for you. But if you don't show up with intention, if you don't show up and be focused on it, you're not going to get the feeling. You could sit there and be in the chair You know, think about going to classes, going to school. You could sit there and be in the chair. It doesn't mean that you're going to learn. You could sit there and watch a video, but if you're brushing your teeth and doing 8 other things, you're not going to get the feeling. This is the loving push forward that I hope you accept, because everybody else is going to look at you and see how much you're doing and how perfect you are and how much momentum you have and how many things you're doing, and they look up to you in awe, and you're an inspiration to them. And you should be, because you are doing amazing things. And at the same time, you know it's nothing compared to what you could do. But the difference between where you are right now and where you want to go is actually not that big. The difference is just minor tweaks between where you are right now and where you want to go. For most of you, it's just minor tweaks. This is one of those minor tweaks that if you could just stay consistent on having a morning routine, and then inside of that consistency, doing the thing that makes you feel bold, powerful, unstoppable, alive, ready to start the day, not expecting to be amazing when you wake up, but then doing the thing that brings that out of you every single day, your life will change. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and just get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of actually following through on your goals. That's not good enough. No, not for you, Believe Nation. We gotta do something. But when you write it down and you create a specific plan of action for the next week, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like leaving a comment on this video, it jumps to 95%. You need to follow through on your goals. So what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your specific plan of action for the next week? Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
Hey man.
Evan, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
You got a book coming out, don't you?
You just came out.
Where can people get it?
Get it on Amazon, easiest spot, built to serve, right there.
Let's go, man. If you guys don't know Evan, follow Evan Carmichael. He's got a new book out, Build to Serve. Go grab it today at Amazon. Just a good dude right here.
I understand the affirmations and mental and be positive and meditation. How about some action?
Yeah.
You know, I have never thought something into existence without doing something.
This is why I don't buy houses, okay? This is why Brandon's seen this presentation before, okay? This is my favorite topic in the universe. because this is what allows me to move, okay? So when I take $15 million, okay, I buy $60 million worth of real estate. 15 million buys $60 million worth of real estate, okay?
With such big numbers, by the way, guys, you never even write the whole number out. He takes 3 zeros off the end all the time.
Okay. Well, and I'm not buying $60 million deals. So I'll do $1 billion worth of real estate this year. Okay, can y'all look at that number? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do this year. So I'm gonna take $300 million this year, and I'm gonna buy $1.2 billion worth of real estate. To me, it's a good deal. I can become a billionaire. I can own control $1 billion worth of assets for $300 million. All I got to do is figure out how to get $300 million. God damn, this is like God. This is all the math I needed. I could have learned this in the 5th grade. Don't need any. I don't need any algebra, no trigonometry, calculus. Don't need any of it. This multiplication, leverage, $300 million worth of cash buys $1.2 billion worth of real estate in America. Okay. That $300 million is going to pay me $18 million a year in cash flow. Is that right? I think that's right. I'm going to get paid $1.5 million every month to control $1.2 billion worth of real estate, okay? This is cash flow. Cash flow is what? It's freedom, baby. It's freedom. It's flow. It's current. It's a current. Currency, the word currency comes from current. If you look it up in the dictionary. Current, it has to move. See this right here, the 1.2 billion is not moving. That's good too though. That's good because you want something that's illiquid that will grow, right? This is the flow. The flow allows me to keep the asset until it appreciates. We're looking for unusual activity. Okay, there's unusual activity going on right now. You see it every day if you're looking for it. People are moving out of New York. Entire companies are starting to move. New Jersey, they're complaining about it, okay? They're pissed off as hell. The government, they changed the rules on writing your state taxes off against your federal. Now, what's that called? SALT. So, used to be that I paid 13% in California, and then I'm paying 48% in federal. I could take the 13 off the 48. Now it's not like that. Now it's 13 to 48, or 38 or 39, whatever. It's terrible. Okay? So I take $300 million. It's cash. It's worth the last 10 years from now. How many believe this $300 million is worth less than 10 years? You don't need another math class. It's going down in value. I take the cash, the trash, and I buy concrete, steel, and glass. Where people live, okay, we don't buy any retail, nothing. No Macy's, no Bloomingdale's, maybe one day, but not today. These people have to have a place to live. When we buy this asset, it is cash flowing. We know it's going to make us 6% in the first year, 5 to 7%, somewhere in that range. We should be paid on that deal. Okay, so this is really important. This cash flow right here, this cash flow is what will get you through a contraction. You have to have cash flow to assist you through contraction.
Training. If you're not going to train, then put a sign on your desk, I quit learning a long time ago, and see how many people want to buy from you. Tell your family, go home and tell your wife and your kids, I quit learning, I quit reading, I quit studying, I quit training, I can't get any better. Put on there, done, I'm finished, I'm in retirement early, I'm going to purgatory, I'm going to wait it out, cross my fingers, and hope they bring me to sales heaven. Look, you're done if you don't train, okay? Now, I know you know this, you've heard it, I hate to tell you this. My boy McGregor, Conor McGregor or McGregor? My boy Conor McGregor, okay? I went and saw him fight in New York. I went and saw him fight for one reason, because I saw him say, I'm not the best, this isn't about talent. It's because I'm obsessed. I out-train everyone else. I have to win so bad, I train. Look, if you're not training, that says something about your obsession or lack of obsession with winning. I want you to win. I know your wife or your husband, your spouse, your family members, your kids, your mom and dad want you to win at the next level, no matter what they tell you. Even if they tell you you're doing great, pat you on the back, you know the truth. You know the truth. The only way to win is to train. The only way to win is to read. The only way to win is to learn more, listen more, learn something new. Look, we're in a time like we've never been before. Technologies come and go faster than people do. Things are changing like this, whether it's video you're using or social media or Snap or short videos or videos that disappear or videos that stay or text messaging that you can create to push and market and brand yourself, called text messaging, which I've been using a lot. Look, the world's changing. And if you're saying to yourself, I'm too old to learn that, well, then guess what? You're too old to learn that. If you can't learn anything new, just put, I'm ripe and I'm about to fall off the tree and nobody's going to want me. Look, man, you got to train every single day like your life depends on it. Train every single day. I am here today. I own these 4 companies that I own, the studio, my reputation, everything is because when I was 25 years old to when I was 30 years old, every single day, I trained watching video every day. I'd watch the video, I'd walk in, and then I would role play, and then we would do a sales meeting every single day.
When I was a kid, Glenn, I was like, I knew I was going to do something great and had zero reason to believe that.
Right.
Like it was a total fantasy, or maybe not. I think everybody has that. I would imagine that every kid has this idea that they're meant for greatness. I know I did. I always thought I was going to be something great. I remember my twin brother. He'd be in the mirror, man. He's like 8 years old. We're 8 years old. And he's singing in the mirror like he's a rock star.
Right.
I had to listen to that all the time. and then I start thinking, man, if he's going to be a rock star, he's going to go on and be a big rock star. And I can't, because that wasn't my deal.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what am I going to be? And then I thought, I'm going to be a baseball player. I actually believed I was going to be a baseball player.
Right.
Dude, I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the arm. I mean, I had no talent. I didn't have the work ethic. I didn't have somebody pushing me. So I've just always underestimated what I could do. I think everybody does. That's why this 10X thing, that's why I keep telling people, man, you're thinking too small. When I talk to people about real estate, don't do 2 units. Got to start somewhere. No, you don't have to start with 2 units. You could actually start with 32.
Right.
And by the way, it's going to be a lot easier to make money on 32 than it is 2.
Sure.
If you can just believe that you can. And right now is a time where people are going to have to start believing they can do something else, because we're going to move into a period of time now where there's going to be massive transition, enforced transition on everyone.
I don't think that people burn out. I think it's impossible. I'm not a piece of wax. I'm not a candle. So the burnout thing was put on us by people that quit already.
Yeah.
You're going to burn out, dude. You're going to burn out. Burnout is never about work. Nobody burns out because they work too hard. Oh, you're burning the candle at both ends. I'm a spiritual being. I can create energy. This is an irresponsibility. Like, I've never met a human being that was made of wax. Oh yeah, but I'm burning at both ends. You're a being. You're a being. Okay, like, quit saying something's happening to you. This goes back to cause and effect. I create energy, and I love your example of the kids. Okay, that kid can play that game. It's always a game, though.
Yeah, all day, all night.
It's always a game. There's nothing that entertains people more than a game. And so when I was 18 years old, man, I was playing a game called Asteroids. I would play $80 of it a day because it cost $0.25 every game, right? And I'm just throwing them in, doing anything I can to get quarters so I can dump them into this game. And I was trying to get to the next level. Look at how people play Candy Crush, 700 levels, and they're still looking for the next level over and over again. It's games, man. And that energy doesn't run out until you hit boredom, because you can see a kid play a game too long, and then they start getting like kind of smashed in, and their attitude gets bad because they've been playing that same game too long.
Yeah.
So I know that as long as I'm interested, not passionate.
What's the difference for you?
Well, for me, I need to be able to win at a game. If there's a chance I can win, I'll be excited about the game. If there's no chance to win, I have no interest. So for me, the idea that I'm going to follow my passions is a little bit diluted for me. I think people are looking for their passion. I would not follow my passion. I would follow the wins.
Right. So are you saying there's things that you could really enjoy, but you don't think you could win? Is that what you mean?
I think I think that if there's no victory, the passion is a little bit narcissistic. Like, oh, I'm meant to be an artist. Baby, ain't nobody buying your art. Nobody's buying it. All you do is stacking art. Okay, it's so selfish. I do this for me. Makes me feel good. 7 billion people on this planet, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you keep all this to yourself, sooner or later, you're just gonna look like a junkyard around you. And at some point, you're gonna see this person cave in depression. And it's like where do you get the art out? Like, I love watches, right?
So do I.
Yeah. Most of my watches end up on somebody else's arm.
Yeah.
Like, I have it for a while, I love it for a while, and then I'm like, here, you have it.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, it needs to get out, and I have a victory in that.
Yeah.
I see it on somebody else's arm, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And so if I write a book and the book doesn't get sold, I'm not going to be excited about that book. I need the book in hands of other people. I've created a fund called Cardone Capital, and it's changing the way people can invest in real estate. So when I was growing up, and even in my early real estate career, I could not buy the best assets. The best properties are left for institutions and banks, and it's super, super wealthy. I'm talking about the kind of wealth you're familiar with and read about here. And I'm not talking about people that have hundreds of millions, but billions and hundreds of billions and even trillions of dollars of available money to them. And so most even real estate professionals get the leftovers, everything after that. And so I've been playing the real estate game for 30 years, and in the last 7 years figured out, okay, I'm going to start buying what JP Morgan buys and Blackstone. And I'm going to use my audience on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm not going to go get my money from the institutions. I'm going to get the deal from the institution. And the money is going to come from my friends. And we're going to crowdsource this money without paying brokers. The brokers never like to hear me say this. But we've raised $300 million, bought $1 billion worth of real estate in the last 30 months. I paid not one penny to a broker.
Wow.
So that means all that investor dollars ends up in the investment, saving the investor money. And then we distribute cash distributions every single month, not every quarter. Like the banks distribute every quarter, or a REIT will distribute every quarter.
It's funny, you know, people talk about the power of social media and they diss it a lot. But then last week, Kylie Jenner, $600 million, 51% stake in her business. You have raised $300 million through crowdfunding.
Because a lot of people are wasting time on social media. They're getting likes and comments. I know there's a guy flying into town tomorrow, and he's big on free and don't monetize, and he's looking at his likes and comments, and I don't look at likes and comments. I look at, hey, I have an offer. This is what you could do. It's a great deal for you. It's a great deal for me. It's a great deal for everybody that plays, and we want to monetize. So I think I'm going to raise $3 billion. I'm going to create a $10 billion fund, crowdfunding, and then the banks are going to come to me and say, we want to buy that thing. I was making some money, like in my 30s and 40s. I made a lot of money. What other people would call a lot of money. Yeah. But I was not a business. You know what I mean? I was just.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I was just hustling. Just because you're hustling. Everything was a transaction. Yeah. Everything was a transaction to get money, pay the taxes, have a little bit of money left over. Everything was a transaction. Yeah. And this guy's like, well, you know, you're not a business. And I was like, I know, man, I know. Don't tell anybody. I know that, okay? Like, I knew it. And because to me, a business is I can walk away from it, it'll still operate. I was a guy. I was no different than when I was 30, just pounding doors. And which was good. And I think a lot of people you don't need to skip that spot either. Because once I put the two together, okay, I can pound the door. I can learn e-commerce. I can be a one product sale. I could sell to companies. Like today, we'll sell a product to a company for 80 grand on a 3 to 5 year contract, 80 grand a year. Yeah, wow. And I'll switch immediately and sell an $8 product online, or I'll give something away for free, to speaking to 4,000 people today in hopes that I can meet, maybe 40 of them that I can have a partnership and a collaboration with in the future.
So, like you said 10 years ago, someone said to you, you don't have a business. What changed? Like how have you built what you've built now? Is that when the whole 10X philosophy started? Yeah, exactly. 10X woke me up. 10X was not for the public. 10X was for me. I was trying to figure out, why am I work hard, I got great products, got a great reputation, great reviews, people like me, they like my content. They like my content actually better than they like me. That might have been an exaggeration, you know what I mean? But even if they didn't like me, they're like, dude, your content's so ridiculous. It's so good. Like whether it's sales, closing, marketing, promotion. And a lot of it, I wasn't even taking my own advice. Like I was giving advice and not taking it. So when the economy crashed, which was, I guess, almost 10 years ago, in America particularly, it was so devastating that if you had any weakness in a business, like every weakness was showed. Warren Buffett talks about, hey, what are you wearing when the tide goes out? Well, dude, in 2008, 9, and 10, when the tide went out, every weakness that I had exhibited, hard work did not leave you less vulnerable in 2010. You could have worked hard and still, you'd be upside down in your house, you could lose everything, your cash accounts are garbage, stock got wrecked, everything, right? So 2010 was really the whisper, you're not a business, son. That was the big, hey, you're not a business. And that's when I made a decision, okay, I'm gonna build a business. So between 6 and 9, I'm gonna set up my first 3 things to do that morning. I'm probably gonna work out. In my case, because I'm a father, I'm gonna spend time with my kids. Then I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna get ready, have some breakfast, and be ready for a 9 a.m. meeting. 9 to noon, between 9 and noon, maybe I have phone calls, maybe I'm working on a project, maybe I'm shooting a video. I'll basically have those notes. Again, every line
Every line on this page should be filled up. Noon, I'm gonna take a quick lunch, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, have a bite to eat, or I'm gonna spend a longer lunch, but it'll always be with a client. 3 to 6, 6 to 9, I'm cranking down, I'm turning it off, I'm going to sleep. If you overcommit and underdeliver, if you can't get to everything, that's better than having blank space on this calendar. Now, the right side is why I built the 10X Planner as a journal, schedule, planner, day timer, day runner, call it what you want. Your goals, these 4 or 5 lines right here are going to be the most important way to start your day because this is your purpose. This is why you're living your life. This is the reason you're getting up and going into work each day. Underneath this, you're going to see quote of the day. What is your quote today? This is a very creative 2 lines that's going to cause you to think about what you stand for that day. These are your targets, things you want to accomplish this day, calls you want to make, appointments you want to have, deals you want to close, people you need to see, somebody you got to get in front of. This is your exact target, something measurable. Then what do we have? Successes. So important. Don't wait till the end of the week or the end of the month to write down your successes. What'd you do today? You went to the dentist and had your teeth cleaned. Boom, that's a success. For me, that's a major success because I hate dentists. And by the way, make sure when you put your successes down here, tweet me every once in a while, and I'll make sure I either retweet you or I'll follow you or I'll get you more followers. Last thing, write your goals down again. You wrote them down this morning, you wrote them down at night. I can't tell you how valuable this is, okay? You write your goals down once a year. I'm gonna write mine down 700 times a year. Who wins this game? A guy smarter than me, taller than me, better looking than me, better connected than me, writes his goals down once or twice a year, and I write mine down 700 times a year. Who wins? It won't be taller, it won't be richer, it won't be better looking. It'll be the guy that writes his goals down twice a day, every day.
The idea here is, look, commit. Okay, and this is the problem with the schooling system. Everything's got to be figured out first. I got to read the instructions first. Like, nobody really does read the instructions.
I never read the instructions. I wrote an article about it. I don't read any instructions.
You know, and so, I mean, I can't read them because they're so small. Yeah. so, and even when I could read them, I'm like, I don't want to read the instructions. Can't they make this simpler?
Yeah.
So, and that is the premise there.
Yeah.
Can't it just be simpler?
Yeah.
And the way to make it simple is, and we see this happening today. I mean, this is happening on a global scale where picking a car up now is simple. Pick me up.
It's crazy.
I don't have to put the address in. It should locate where I am. Car picks me up. I put in the destination, tells guy where to go.
You don't even need to pay for it either. It's already set up.
Like simple. You guys got, everything should be simplified. Yeah. And the way to simplify things, I remember Mercedes-Benz years ago, I heard about this when they had first figured out how to put a drop back, a hardtop convertible into the trunk. They couldn't figure it out. It used to be these old, you know, they'd hang them up in the garage and take them off, and it was like very laborious. And somebody at Mercedes-Benz said, don't tell me what it's going to cost. Tell me when it's done. Just get it done, no matter what. This is how the Elon Musk are thinking today. You know, this is why Apple keeps creating a crazy product. Why this will go away. Somebody's going to come along one day and say, get rid of the phone, and I still want to communicate.
Yeah.
And it'll probably be on a headset, more like this. We'll probably go in here, right, where I pop.
Well, I mean, the watches.
Yeah, they're moving there, right?
It's crazy.
So to where I don't even need a watch. I won't need anything. It's like, okay, I want to call blah, blah, blah. We're moving in that direction of less and faster and simpler. So the way the human being does that, he's in Brisbane this morning, the Gold Coast. I got to get down there. He's committed. He doesn't figure, he just gets a flight. No research.
No, not
You weren't
at all.
researching it last night?
No, not at all.
If you'd have known about this last night, you'd have been doing work about it last night, planning, negotiating with the airlines. When you get compressed on time and you got a commitment, you're like, I got to be there at 2:30. Everything works out.
Yeah, as I was walking out, my assistant, she goes, "Oh, where are you going to stay?" And I was like, "Book me a place. We're close to to the park. Or where you're staying." Won't put that out. But
we're on this trip. We went to Tokyo. Because things don't work out as planned anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying go through life unplanned. I have 500 employees. So there's got to be some planning. There's got to be.
Is that stretched over your
It doesn't need to
companies?
be me doing the planning though.
Yeah.
Like maybe I need somebody else to do that. I don't have to do that.
No.
I just need to know where I want to go. So we were coming to Sydney. I knew I had this commitment with Success Resources to come here and do these events. Good. Tell me when the events are. Bang, bang, bang.
okay, I got to get there, right? So a week ago, I'm like, okay, hey, Lanny, I called my pilot. I want to route to Sydney, but let's stop in Hawaii. Let's go to Kauai. Kids have never been there. We'll stay there for 3 days, acclimate for a second, and shoot down to Sydney. I had enough data to know that I would need to do a route like that. Storm comes in. For some reason, I can't get the place I want in Kauai. Storm comes across the South Pacific, and Lanny said, hey, we might want to be careful with this storm coming down there. I said, okay, well, let's reroute to Fiji. Double storm pops up. Double-headed cyclone. Okay, in our path. He's like, Grant, we can't go that way. We'd have to go all the way around this storm. I said, no, we don't. Go to Tokyo. Now, the point of that story is, look, just keep moving forward. Yeah. Keep moving in a direction that you want to go to. We go to Tokyo. I made all these friends in Tokyo. Yeah. I would have never done that. Yeah. But I was committed to going to Sydney. And so, again, commit. Move in the direction that gets you closer to where you're going to go.
How do you personally know, like, when is it time to pivot a little bit? When is it time to shift? I've seen you put layer on layer on layer on layer, but how do you know when to make that move? When do we go to the next layer?
Well, for me, it's, you know, it's like you see the end of something coming. You know, everything's got a cycle. Every sooner, look, you know, Federal Express. I'm watching Federal Express this morning, so it's getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
Like, the company probably will not exist in the future. This is one of the greatest companies ever put on planet Earth. It's going to be disrupted by Amazon.
Right.
So it might come back, and I'm sure some maybe Warren will come in and figure out how to save it. But my point of that is that, like, things expire, bodies expire, products expire, ideas expire, and they run a cycle where either the passion's not there or the profit's not there. And for me, you know, I like to do things that are profitable.
Right.
And the more profit it makes, the more passionate I get for some reason.
Right. I can understand that.
So because that's the only way I know how to win. I can't make a basket. I can't write a movie. Maybe I can. Maybe I could write a movie. I can't make it.
You put together some pretty good videos. I think you could probably put together a good movie.
Yeah. So, look, if I do a 10X growth conference and 12,000 people come and we lose money on it, that's nothing to be proud about.
Sure.
I know guys that can do that. We run the only, just to brag a little bit, we run the only profitable event in the world.
Wow.
Everybody loses money on those deals. Those events they do. I did a deal with Tony Robbins, Sly Stallone, Gary Vaynerchuk. Who else was at that gig? I think Pitbull was there too. 2 days, they lost money on that gig.
Jeez.
Like, gosh, how you lose money on that?
Wow. With
how
that lineup?
Like, I'm like, you got to be kidding, because they couldn't sell their tickets. They couldn't get the appropriate price for their ticket. So when do you decide to transcend? When do you decide to move on to something? Look, when it's no longer passionate, it's no longer profitable, and you can't figure out a solution, right? You've tried and you're looking at, and you know that maybe the industry's starting to go away.
You mentioned that whilst writing 10X Raw, something changed for you.
Yeah.
What was that? Was that sort of this?
Look, the 10X rule
to going all in, or
no? The 10X rule was just the awareness of I had been dependent upon one vertical,
right?
And I'm sitting there looking. Okay, I worked my ass off. I was good at my craft. I saved my money. What did I do wrong here, dude? 51 years old. I should be like so rich right now. I should be like not even work, huh?
Where's my jet rich?
I wasn't even thinking about a jet.
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about a jet. I should just be like, I was still having to do business with people I didn't like. I'm like, why am I still kissing ass? And I don't mind kissing ass. Like, I don't mind. I'll do whatever it takes. But I'm like, why am I still flying 3 million miles every 3 years? Like, I was banging miles out. I wasn't 150,000 miles a year.
Wow.
You know, away from my family. Like my life was miserable. I'm like, what? It's fine that you do that for 20 years. It's not fine if you do it forever. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I wasn't scaling. Now, I didn't know that until the economy basically served up the lesson.
Right.
All right, we're going to take your 3 businesses and we're going to show you that you really only have like maybe a half of one business. Took the first business and just cut it in half. Took the second business, took it down to like 90%, like just killed this partner I had. And the third business was real estate, and it was frozen. It was literally like they put it in a freezer and said, you're not going to lose any of this, but it's worth nothing to you today.
Yeah.
And I was on life support. And I'm like, I'll never do this again. I will never be dependent upon one vertical, one partner, or a handful of real estate. I come in today. I walk, we fly into London. We get here at 11:15. I don't know what I'm going to do next. There's 5,000 people out there. Somebody sends me a text. Okay, this is what your day looks like. Okay, now I start running and hustling from one thing to the next thing. In between, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jam stuff in between events so that I leave this. I'm going to be here 8 or 9 hours. I'm going to leave this, and it's going to feel like I was here 8 days. And so I'm going to jam as much in so I don't get in trouble, because the more active I am, I'm creating time, basically. I'm not trying to manage time. I'm not trying to manage my day. I'm trying to create my day.
Yeah.
So I look at everything as like I'm creating something. I'm always in creation, because that keeps me from being effect. So I'm either going to be pushing this thing or it's going to be pushing on me. And, I don't fly the plane. I can only push as much as my skills allow me to.
Yeah.
So I can tell the guys from the back, hey guys, give us a good straight landing right down the middle, okay? Get us a little faster, get us a little higher. But I'm just from the back because I can't fly the plane. I'm in the back. I'm in the back of the plane. You guys are doing great up there, right? Okay. So keep it straight when you land, right? Don't wreck this thing. Don't damage it, right? I'm just from the back.
Yeah.
You guys, autopilot. That's all y'all do up there, right? I make this joke about pilots. I'm like, anybody can fly a plane. Not anybody, not just anyone can buy a plane.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of tongue-in-cheek thing, because I can't fly a plane. So it doesn't matter how much I want to. I can't. So I can't micromanage that. But what I can do when I'm on the plane, like last night, we got on at 10 o'clock. Got to the airport at 9:45. Walked on the plane. Beds are made. 2 kids, a nanny, Elena, all have our little separate beds. Bam, we knock out. We wake up at 11:15 this morning here. So I'm refreshed, ready to go. And then somebody sends me a little thing and says, this is what you're doing today. First, you got to rob more. I said, oh. That dude. Okay. So then we'll bang, 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 bang. And then we're going to leave out here about 9 o'clock tonight, go to Dubai and do that all over again. So that's how every day works. Okay. Except for today, when I woke up here, somewhere this morning, somebody, when they wake up, is going to send me, the first thing that happens to me every morning is I get a cash account.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, nobody's stealing from me. Okay, those numbers are getting bigger. Okay, that one went down. Okay, I know this money's going here. I need money, man. I'm playing chess. Those are my pieces. And if I didn't have money, it would be, okay, what's my time? It's either money or time. Which one am I running? So look, I worked at McDonald's, I got fired. I worked at a furniture store, I got fired. I worked in a car dealership, I was fired 6 times from the same guy. I just quit leaving. And I've been fired so many times, I finally figured out how to get fired and keep my job. I mean, really. So
talent.
I'm a sales guy not because I wanted to. That was not something I wanted to do. My dad was a sales guy. My dad told my mom before he died, tell those boys to learn how to sell. He knew he was going to die. And he's like, tell those boys to learn how to sell and they can go anywhere. I didn't know that. My mom didn't tell me that until I was like 25, 26 years old. And I had to take a sales job. She wanted me to be a professional. So I went and got an accounting degree, got out of college. There was 25% unemployment. I didn't know it. I didn't know anything about sales. I didn't go to college to become a salesman. But it was the only job I could get when I was 25 years old. It was be unemployed or take this job selling Toyotas. I didn't even know what a Toyota was. This is years ago. Toyota wasn't even a thing yet. And so I took this job that I thought it was just going to be a temporary job. I said, okay, I'm going to do this until I can get a real job. And that ended up becoming my career. I actually hated sales because all the jobs I had outside of McDonald's were part-time sales jobs. I sold clothes. You know, I remember selling clothes. I'd sell an outfit and I'd make $6 on it. So kind of hard to get excited about $6, but it was $6 more than I had. And I was trying to put myself through college and pay for all kind of ridiculous things I was doing at the time. And I leaned into the sales thing and started learning it. I was just shooting some material today for Cardone University. We have probably, without me over promoting my own product, we probably have the most viewed sales training system in the world today. And I'm saying that not to brag, but to tell the viewer, this came out of a job I didn't want and didn't like. But when I leaned into it and said, hey, I need to commit to this thing because I have to learn how to do this. I have to learn how to bring revenue in. And whether I liked it or not, I needed to learn the money game. The money game starts with in accounting. And it might have been the thing I learned in accounting as I sit here and tell you this story, because in accounting, I remember studying financial statements in accounting classes. It was accounting, the principles of accounting. I thought I was going to learn how to make money. That's not what they're teaching there. But I remember there was on a page in the accounting book, the blue accounting book that I detested and hated. There was a page about an income statement. And then they would compare income statements of these companies. Well, the top thing of every page was income, revenue, or gross sales. And later, looking back, didn't know it then, but looking back later, I'm like, oh, that's the most important part of a company. If it wasn't the most important part of a company, they wouldn't put it at the top of the income statement.
Yeah, that's true.
On every income statement everywhere in the world, it doesn't matter whether you're in China or Chicago. The top 3 lines, they might be different words there. It is all describing gross sales, revenue by department, gross domestic product, how much revenue is coming through a country. That is what determines whether or not a household, a department, or a company is viable. And I had been fighting the top 3 lines of my personal financial statement, which everybody has one. And it's called sales. So once I leaned into it, boom, I started making money, man. It was literally that simple. I'm going to learn how to bring revenue into my household. I was 25 years old, had no money, lived in an apartment. My rent was $275 a month. I was late on it 4 times a year. Every 3 months I was late because I'd go up and down. And when I leaned into it, all of a sudden, hey, I made an extra $1,000 when I was 25 years old. I'm like, wow, that was the most important money I've ever made in my whole life, because it gave me an idea that I could control my income.
I had a guy the other day ask me for some advice. Okay, you know these people that ask for advice? I know you know them. Yeah. You give it to them and they don't do it.
Yeah.
He knew it was true. It hit him. He's like, I know that's right. And then he went and did something different. This is a big mistake people make, man. The best things that have happened to me did not require any more thought. The best decisions I've made in my life were instant. So like my wife and I, like when I decide to buy something, I go buy it. I don't check with her because that adds thought. It adds time. And this is another bad piece of advice I was given. Like, take time. Think about it. Don't move too fast. Take baby steps. You don't know, nobody on this planet ever took baby steps. They went fast. And the faster you can go, you know, my plane is safest when it's up in the air. When it's landing, slowing down, it's in trouble. When it's taking off, it's at risk.
That's interesting. At flight at full speed, it's almost the safest.
Dude, that thing wants to fly, you know, and people are being conditioned to slow down, think about it, take your time, take a drug. I was put on lithium when I was 29 years old. Because the psychologist thought I needed to slow down. She was scared of speed. I wasn't.
And at that time, were you doing well? financially?
Yeah,
or
I was doing great, but everybody was saying, hey, you're doing too much of this and you're doing too much of that and you're going to burn and you're going to do this. And people were worried about me around me. They were going slow. I was vibrating faster than they were. But a hummingbird vibrates. Bumblebees vibrate, right? They do things that are impossible. So you don't want to slow down. And you want to move with speed and certainty. That means people need to know what they're doing. If I know what I'm doing, that's why confident people, Tiger won today.
Tiger won today.
He's been fighting, man, been efforting. 10 years he hadn't had a win. He won today. That guy moves with speed and certainty. You know, winners move with speed and certainty because they practice, they train, they educate.
If you're having problems right now, okay, like if you're having recurring problems, just make a list. Make a list of.
Make sure you guys do what Grant says. Remember, he's a T-Rex.
Yeah. Make a list. Make a list of your recurring problems that you're sick of. The same stuff over and over again. Man, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't get to take whatever the recurring problems are. I can't get good people. I got one person in my office that I depend on, and I'm sick of depending on him, even though he's a producer. Those recurring problems that you have over and over again. You lose deals. You don't like your clients. You actually have clients that you'd like to get rid of. You know how you get rid of bad clients? Get more of them. Okay. So what I do is if I have problems, let's say I'm making $1 million a year. I'm making 1 million, and I'm like, okay, next year, this is what business owners do. They're like, this year I'm going to go from 1 million to 1.2 million. I'm going to get a little growth, and then COVID cracks you, and then you're like, okay, I'll settle for 500 grand now. The problem was you were looking for incremental growth. Okay, you know the old thing about 3 steps forward, 2 steps backward. You only get 1 step out of that. By the time a week or two goes, you're like, I'm sick of this. I'm tired. I'm bored. I'm beat up. And your life doesn't change. The trick is that if you would plan out how to get to 10 million, even though you're not, let me just go ahead and asterisk that right now. Don't have a plan to go from 1 to 1.2. Build a plan to go from 1 to 10 million because it's going to give you a new set of problems. Okay? And a takeaway for you today, get new problems. Because if you keep working on the set of problems that you have, you will never solve them. Okay, watch. I got a handful of problems. I'm making $1 million a year or 200 grand or whatever your number is. Pick your number. And I'm like, I'm going to get me incremental growth. How do I do that with the people I have, the time I have, the office I have? Well, what you do is you're like, I'm going to go from 1 million to 10 million. Oh, I need a new office, new problem. Oh, I need 10 people, not 2 people. Oh, I need to spend 100 grand a month on advertising, not 5,000. See, all of a sudden I got new problems. I'm no longer thinking about Pete, what do they call the guy that you're the diva, Jessica. I got to put up with Jessica's because she's a diva, comes in when she wants, leaves when she wants. She runs the business even though I own it. She tells me what to do. She's really the boss even though I write the checks. Okay. So I'm like, I'm going to go get 20 Jessicas. You follow what I'm saying? I'm going to go build, like a lot of you are worried about debt. I remember in 2008, I owed $50 million to the bank. And I'm like, I told my wife, this will never happen to me again. The bank was pushing me around, like bullying me around like a punk. And I said, Elena, this will never, ever happen to us again. And she's like, what are you going to do to prevent it? I said, the next time this country goes upside down, I'm going to owe $1 billion in debt.
The problem that people need to complain about right now is not the billionaires. They need to understand that because what they're saying is there's income inequality, wealth inequality. But the reality is there's education inequality. Okay, the billionaires play by a different set of rules than everybody else. So do I blame the guy playing by a different set of rules or do I blame the game? You know, the old saying about don't hate the player.
Yeah,
hate the game.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to win at the game.
Yeah.
Don't hate anybody. Don't hate the game. Don't hate the player. Learn the game.
Yeah.
And the game of the wealthy, the rules are stacked for wealthy institutions and wealthy families.
Yeah.
And people need to like understand what those rules are.
Yeah. And those games are those rules. Those games.
Investing.
Yeah.
Not spending.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a house. I'm going to buy a company.
Yeah.
You know, Donald Trump, everybody
Create
hates
jobs.
Huh?
Create jobs.
Yeah. I'm not going to have a job. I'm going to create jobs.
Yeah.
Like the difference is Donald Trump, he buys a building in New York. He lives in it. He doesn't buy a house and live in it. Yeah. He buys a building and lives in it, rents out the whole place. He literally gets paid to live where he is, right? And then moves into the White House. so same thing with the Queen, okay? Like look at the play, man.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to take the Queen stuff from her?
Not me.
Nobody is.
No.
Nobody is. People have been trying to take her stuff for 70 years. Ain't nobody taking her stuff.
No.
So this is not a new thing. This is not a new problem. Like this is thousands of years old. Play the game of the wealthy. Own things. Own businesses. Don't spend money.
Yeah.
Invest money. Don't waste it on cars and bicycles and like if you look at the average family in the UK, they will spend ridiculous money on things their kids want. Look, I take care of my kids, but I don't just frivolously buy them junk.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's only $89. I'm gonna get it for them, and it's worth nothing the next day. That's where the difference is.
Yeah.
And then the wealthy, they invest money to connect with people. Okay, most people go home at night so they can be with their family. The thinking's different. So these guys are going to go to Davos and meet with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and spend millions making connections, not tens of thousands, millions of dollars, where the average household in the UK is like, I just want to go home tonight, watch TV. And the people are getting punished for that.
Do not try the competition thing. It's overrated and it doesn't work. And I'm going to prove it to you right here in a second. Okay? This is a private, what's called an FBO. Everybody that flies in here owns their own aircraft. Dude, you don't want to try to be the biggest jet, okay? You don't want to try to be the most money. You don't want to try to be the best of the best. There'll always be somebody faster and stronger and richer, okay? Don't play the game, oh, I got to be number one. What does that even mean, man? I got to be the biggest. What does that even mean? I got to have the biggest car, the biggest watch, the hottest chick. What does that mean? It's a game you cannot win at, okay? You will get your brains handed to you. I'm gonna show you what I mean right here in a second. That plane right there. That's a little Lear jet right there. I think it's a little Lear or Phenom. I don't have all my jets right, okay? I don't know, you can buy that plane for about 800 grand. Right next to it. Little bigger. Look what's rolling up right here, a little Challenger. We got a little Gulfstream 4 right there. That sleeps 13. Don't try to play the game. I'm the biggest. It's a game, okay? It's a loser's game, man. I'm gonna show you some equipment out here because anybody, like here's a little Phenom 100. That plane's about $5 million. Great plane, so fast. Seats 7 people, okay? Maybe $4 or $5 million. Great plane, great starter plane. But look at this. See that right out there? That's a 20 passenger jet right there. Okay, now notice what's right next to it, John. Okay, that's a 727 that a hotel owns. If you try to play that game, the competition game, I'm the strongest, I'm the best, you lose that game. You gotta find what you need in life. What's enough for you? You guys gotta define that. I can't define it for you. Most people are coming up short on that game, but there's a lot of other people that are making the mistake when they get in the game and they start playing, they gotta keep reaching, not because they need it, but because their ego is like, oh, I gotta be the biggest. And you know what? You're gonna turn into
A hotel owns that. That plane's probably $200 million back there. The point is, don't play, I gotta be the strongest, because sooner or later you won't be. Find out what you need. Look on that plane over there. Hey, look at my little plane. Look at my little plane. See, you're like, man, Grant, man, your little plane. Now flash over to this one. See, if I'm doing the comparison thing, the competition thing, it's a loser's game.
I would rather fast than perfect. Yeah. I'll post something that's got grammatical issues. The first book I ever wrote had hundreds of misspelled words, not a few, hundreds of them. And I remember a guy, first person that told me about him, I didn't see him. I wrote it. It wasn't a ghostwriter. I wrote the book. Yeah. Bang, 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 bang. So the guy calls me and says, man, you got hundreds of misspelled words. I have a spreadsheet. He's trying to be of service to me. He sends me a spreadsheet, grammar, colon, semicolon. I use semicolons where there should be colons, commas where there should be periods. And he's like, run on sentences. And he sends me this whole spreadsheet, like 40 pages of corrections. I said, man, thanks for doing that. Yeah, man, he's like, I just want to be sure you get it right. I said, bro, it's a best-selling book. It's a best-selling book. And he's like, huh? I said, it's a bestseller, son. It's not a best written. Yeah. It ain't a perfect grammar book. Like, I've never been perfect. I'm sloppy. I push hard. I push fast. But I'd rather, I remember Bill Gates. Bill Gates says, look, if Microsoft can't be the best, let's make it look like it's the best. When China was ripping Bill off, he's like, if they're going to rip somebody off, let's make sure they rip off Microsoft. Like, the attitude is like, get to the market. Get to the market, be in the market, put it in people's hands. We can fix it later. If you look at this little device right here, they came out with an 11. The 11 had so many bugs in it. Every day people were getting, you've been updated. Updated is code for phone was yeah. And we had to push it out because we want to hit our quarter. Yeah. And we want to keep people excited with new products. So we're willing to hit people with a new product that's got bugs in it. Now, the perfectionist says, no, we need to wait. Okay, we got to get it perfect. We got to get it fixed, which means you're going to get slaughtered in the marketplace by a beast that runs faster and dominates the market and overwhelms the customer with new products while you're sitting back in your laboratory saying, hey, we're going to make it perfect. And that goes for the artist, to the businessman, to the musician, to everyone. This is why men have an advantage in social media over women. Because women got to do the filter, got to fix their hair, got to do their makeup. Or bodybuilding world champions. He's got to go pump first. Yeah. Ty's back there. Ty Lopez. He's back there. Ty's a friend of mine. He's back there pumping up right now. He's trying to get his pecs swollen. So like you watch my social media. Most of it's not planned. 90% of it's not planned. I have bad hair days. I say the wrong things. I want to push product out. I'd rather frequency and speed over quality. And I'll figure the quality out as I go.
2008 happened. I had nothing to do with 2008. I had two businesses and I was starting to buy real estate. And I was not buying the real estate that caused the problem in this country. Any of you remember when Lehman collapsed, your business, if you were in business, your business probably got hurt. I wasn't doing the mortgage-backed securities. I wasn't doing the no money down houses. I wasn't selling that stuff. I wasn't doing mass development on the backs of the bank with bad loans. But because I lived in America and I was doing business at the time, I got greatly affected by that. My first two businesses got cut in half and my real estate was frozen up. I owed $52 million to a bank that went upside down. New bank came in. They started making demands on me. I ended up in a lawsuit. Aren't there a bunch of lawyers in here?
Yep.
I ended up in one of these crazy lawsuits where the guy was going under. He had done some things wrong, and he decided to pull me down with him. It was a frivolous lawsuit that was costing me $200,000 a month to fund. I had never been involved in a lawsuit in my career. So that being said,
I looked at that situation and said, hey, what did I do wrong here? Like, I always look at how am I responsible, able to respond. That is the definition of responsible, able to respond. Now, in my case, I was being forced to respond. It wasn't a lot of able in it. So, but the one thing that I walked away with was I had a baby on the way. I'd just been married. I just got married maybe 3 years before that. So the marriage was very new. We were really still in the honeymoon phases of our marriage, not really understanding who we were as a team, my wife and I. New baby coming along. I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in a beautiful house up in the hills, overlooking all of LA. And I pretty much thought my life was great until 2008 happened. Now, I'm taking a second to get you to what I want you to hear. I didn't plan on 2008. I didn't think about a Lehman collapse. I didn't know 40 million people were going to go upside down in their homes. I did not know it would affect me. I didn't know one of my industries was the automobile dealers. I was working with automobile dealers around the United States. That was my primary business. I was making a couple $1,000,000 a year. I didn't know 9,000 car dealers would go out of business. Who would plan on any of that? Now, what's that got to do with today? Who in their business plan had COVID as part of your business plan?
Let us know in the chat. Put a no in the chat if you didn't have a plan for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to see 316. I need to see one guy in here say, oh yeah, I planned on mask. Oh yeah, I had myself going out 1 week buying $400 worth of toilet paper. Okay. Oh yeah, in 2020, by the way, how many of you in 2020, January 1st, you were like, this is going to be the best year of my life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody gave that up. On March 23rd, the entire nation of America gave up, surrendered 2020. Look, the news, the media by April was saying 2020's over. How many of you heard that? Fuck it, I'm throwing 2020 away. Fortune 500 companies, 100 companies, Carnival Cruise Lines, General Motors, Ford Motor Company, like mass companies were like, I'm done, I'm tapping out. This year's over. Wall Street, every day I'm watching Bloomberg right now. Wall Street's like, hey, just throw away all the earnings for 2020. Let's reboot for 2021. The entire nation surrendered. Your kids aren't going to schools. You didn't plan on that, did you? See, this is the problem with the concept. I think I saw somewhere in your promo, go big or
go home.
What's the saying? Go big or
go home.
There ain't nothing at home, folks. There ain't nothing at your house. You're not going to make your business work at home. Okay? Go big or go home or home. You need to scratch that out and say, look, I got to go big or I got to go bigger, because going home cannot be a choice now. And the whole country went home. We've been quarantined. You're going to have 10 million, probably 8 to 10 million bankruptcies by the end of this year. The other shoe is not dropped yet. The stock market's going crazy. The rich are getting richer. And I don't include us on this call as the rich. The rich will get richer. Okay. Why? Because they think big. They think big. They never waste a crisis. And we are in a crisis. And the crisis, if you were in trouble before COVID, you are in more trouble today. And the reason we're in trouble is because people in this country are satisfied, complacent, comfortable. These are the enemy. So if you can take anything away from me, it's like, look, you and your wife, you and your husband, you and your kids must give up ideas of comfort.
If you want another amazing Grant Cardone video, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I don't end up doing things that are destructive when I'm busy doing things that are constructive. The truth is, I was never a drug addict. I just had too much free time and made bad choices.